Thank you, Jonathan. Yeah, I want to see how we can retrieve a modification made on a part in an assembly context. So I'm gonna share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yep, looks good.
Okay, so here we get the sample that you can find in the Exchange package with an additional one, a new project, where we gonna traverse the PRC structures and with a boost library, generate an JSON output. So maybe first I can make a short recap on how we store the files in the PRC, the data files in the PRC. So for a simple part where we define a solid and some construction entities such as planes and coordinate system, we're gonna have in the PRC the model file with a product occurrence that will define a part definition where the geometry is stored in a representation item that encapsulate each geometrical element. So let's try to load this file. So here I use this object defined in the sample of Exchange to easily load the Exchange library. Here everything is okay. And I can set some callbacks. And here it's a first definition of a node for the JSON data. With this object, I define what I want to load. So here is just the import file. I can also have access to the option, the loading option with this object. So here I just set the reading of construction entities on. On this line, I have the actual import of the model. And now I have access to the entry point of the model, so the model file that we're gonna traverse. So the philosophy of Exchange is to access to the data. You define the corresponding data structure that you initialize. You call the get function. After that, the structure is populated with some information. Here we get the unit of the model and the list of product occurrence. So now we can use this data, and after using this data, we recall the get function with null pointer just to release the memory. So here we have only one product occurrence. Usually it's the case. Sometimes you can have several product occurrences that represent a file that are actually package of model, and each root product occurrence is an entry to the model, to independent models. So now we can traverse the product occurrence. For each product occurrence, we will do the same, defining a structure data, call the corresponding get function to populate the data. And now we have access to all the data in these structures. So for product occurrence, there are a lot of pieces of information in it. We can have a location for assembly to position the part. And you have also the part definition where the geometry is defined. So we can go and traverse the part definition. I won't dig into how to traverse the part definition and get the representation item. In the Exchange package, you get this sample, the PRC2XML, that traverse everything or most of the structure of the PRC. So if you want to know how to access to the geometry from the part, you can dig into it. And after that, the release of the memory. Each time I pass a JSON node, here it is, and now we can read to the end, and we will see the output. So I retrieve my model with one product occurrence with a part defined in it and a set of representation item, the solid, the 3 planes, and the coordinate system. So now from this simple file, we can have an assembly. So we use the simple model one or multiple times. Here I have an assembly of 2 cubes. And in the PRC, we will have this modelization, a model file with still the root PO, just one. And in this product occurrence, we define 2 other product occurrence. Both of them are instances of the cube. And so they reference the data of the cube through the prototype. So both are referencing the same product occurrence. That means that the geometry defined for the part is only appears one time. So let's see in this project how it goes. So we can load this and traverse it. So we see that in the output, we get a part with just a set of construction entities, but we don't have any product occurrence. So we're gonna add them. We go to the parsing of the product occurrence. Now, maybe we can avoid to traverse the part and just say that the part is defined to have something more short. And maybe we can avoid to load also the construction entities, just to have a shorter output. So now, in the product occurrence, I need to have access to the sub-product occurrence defined here in the structure here. So we're gonna go on the sub-level and see what we got. So now we have our part, our product occurrence. The part is null because now we have no construction entities, so the part is just empty. We have the 2 instances with no part definition and no sub-level. So now to have access to the geometry, as we see here, we need to go through the prototype to the original product occurrence of the cube. We do that by traversing again another product occurrence, the prototype, if it's defined. And now we can see that we have a part definition defined with a body because we still don't have construction entities. And we have 2 instances that define no part at this level, but have access to a part through a prototype. So this kind of part of product occurrence that has no prototype inside as called root product occurrence because they correspond to a product occurrence that we can find under a model file. So in this assembly, we have this first one, because it corresponds to the product occurrence under the model files of the assembly. And we have this one that is also a product occurrence that we could find if we load just the part. It will be exactly the same at this one. So maybe we can just change a bit the name of the node, the JSON node, to identify that. I'm going to just modify these 2 lines. It's a bit longer. So we see here the product occurrence corresponding to the root of the assembly, the 2 instances, and the product occurrence here, references in the instances corresponding to the cube. Okay, so we can see that all this data could be retrieved in the part files, and the data above are defined in the assembly at the assembly level. So let's see a more complex assembly. Here I have 6 cubes, all created by assembly the cube file. The first one has no change. The second one is entirely light blue. The third one has just one face with a new color, a new blue color. The cube 4 is entirely blue with a face dark blue. The next one has a hole. The hole is defined in the assembly, not in the part. The part is still the same cube as the first one. And the last one is hidden. So let's try this file and see where this information, this redefinition appears. I specify a new file path. Et à travers ça, generate the output. Okay. So here I retrieve my instances. For the first one, I have just a link to a prototype that is defined, and everything seems to be exactly the same. So to have access to color and to visibility information, we need to traverse the root base information. So I will add it here just before to dig into the part. So here I traverse the root base data. It's something also that you can find in the PRC to XML sample. The root base data will give you access to the name, persistent ID, attributes, and graphic information, line pattern, color, textures, materials, and behavior. What I mean by behavior is the visibility status. You have also key around inheritance for colors and for visibility and other information. So now if we traverse the model and check also this data, so it takes some time to have the new output. So the first one, nothing changed. Now I have the name of the instance. The second one has the same name. But we can see now we have a definition of a color on the product occurrence that corresponds to the instance. So basically, the color defined here on the instance will override any color you can find on this product occurrence that is referenced by the prototype. For the cube 3, where we get a face with a new color, we have nothing different compared to the first instance, so we miss the information. For the next one, with a new color on the face and on the wall instances, we get the same information that for the cube entirely blue. So a color on the instance that will override all the color in the cube. The next instance is the instance with the wall. Here again, we have no more information. And for the last one, the hidden cube, we see that we retrieve this information again in the root-based data of the instances. So even if the cube is visible, the instances turn off the visibility. So first, we're gonna try to retrieve where is the color of the face. So the idea here is that this is a bit different because for the cube 2, we impact the entire cube, the entire model. So the color is defined for the whole product occurrence. That means if I define a body and a surfaces, both will be blue. But on the cube 3, we just want to impact a part of the cube, not the whole cube, not the whole model, but just a part of the cube. Here, it's a topological item that we want to impact. So for that, for referencing something in the assembly through the assembly on something that is defined at the part definition level, we use entity references that you can find in the structure here. So we're going to traverse that. We're going to put the traverse of entity references just before the part. And we're going to see. So entity references are objects that define a target, a reference, something we want to impact, and also has defined in it a coordinate system if we want to move the references, or color or visibility, because this element has also root-based data. So with the same mechanism, we can redefine color, visibility, and so on. So let's traverse that. Again, this traverse can be inspected in the PRC2 XML sample. Okay. So let's see. 2, 3. Here, I have my cube. This cube is the cube with the blue face. And now I have entity references. My reference is a reference on topo item. So I have a body defined and a face in this body defined by given the index of the face in the body. And with that, I have a new color information. That's how we can redefine the color of the face. And we can check also the cube blue with the darker blue face. And we see that we have the blue color for the whole part. And in addition, we have, again, an entity reference defined. the entity reference is the last modification that will be applied, that should be applied in the model. So we just miss this one, the model with the hole. So if I check this one, it's this one. So how do we get the hole? Actually, you can see here at the instance level that the part definition is defined. It wasn't the case for other instances. So that means that this instance will not go through the prototype to get a part and a list of body, but have a part definition defined at its level, and that the geometry corresponding to these instances is defined here. So that's how we could have multiple representations for the same part. I think that's it. We cover all. I will stop here. So we saw that for assembly, here we can put information that will redefine what we have here. And this mechanism could be applied again if we put this model in another assembly. We will have the same tree and we will put information on the PO corresponding to the context we want to redefine the part.